I didn't really want to swim. There's a couple of things that are going on in my head. This is uncomfortable. What if you get hypothermic?
It seemed unthinkable to consider walking, from the top of the North Island to the bottom of the North Island, but swimming, could it be possible?
So we had one day of possible swimming conditions. We knew that we had to make the most of it, so we had planned out for, I think it was 2 5-hour swims, one in the morning, one in the evening, and that meant an early start on the Sunday morning.
Morning team, it is 5:13 in the morning and we're getting ready to leave from Whāngārā Beach. We've got about 8 to 10k transit north and we're getting underway for our first 5-hour swim of the day. We're all feeling the cold this morning. I think it's about 10 degrees and we're trying to rug up, so it will be a good one, but it's cold weather. Roger, we're just up behind us.
Back at it.
To accommodate the different light levels, Jono has different goggles with different varying levels of tint. He started his swim with his clear ones on so he can see better, but now that the sun's come up, he's asked for his tinted goggles. So we picked them off for Stevie and have delivered them to Jono so that he can continue swimming without any glare of the sun coming off the water.
Jono's making good progress. Hour and 3/4 into his 5-hour swim this morning. He's having a really good run.
For the most part, the day was pretty unremarkable, but we knew that we had to get it in before these southerlies were coming through, and we would have 2, possibly 3 days out. As it eventuated, it was 3 days. These southerly winds were just blowing too strongly through. So it was good to make some progress while we could and hit another milestone, which was 300 hours of total swimming across the mission to date. So we had the community stopover event in Gisborne on the Monday. People of all different ages coming out to see what our kaupapa is all about and hear firsthand. I think there's a lot of stuff happening digitally, but it's a different experience when you're actually hearing that from the people that are on the ground. It was really cool to be able to connect with everybody in Gisborne. There were a lot of cool questions from the kids there. They were very curious about what was going on. Getting questions like, how can we help? What can we do? That's always uplifting to know that it's not just us that are carrying this, it's really like a community-led mission here.
Paddle out and be able to do the whole thing. It's okay.
Welcome to the crew. Welcome to the crew.
Yeah, I came down to support Jono for a couple of weeks, just under, and idea is to basically help out in any way to make his swim easier, make it possible. What he's doing, we're all so incredibly proud of, and he's really gaining momentum to really push for a better ocean. I came up, grew up in a little town outside Christchurch, but arrived in Auckland when everything was pristine. We'd go down to the beach as kids, as 8-year-olds, we could find scallops and crayfish on East Coast Bay's beaches. So in my lifetime, I've seen the degradation of the ocean right on my doorstep. When these things go broke and there's no more, then there is no more. It's finished. So our kids, our grandkids, there's nothing left. We can't replace it, it's gone. So it's an incredibly important thing for me to try and help. When I first heard Jono talk about a mission like this, I was just blown away. I mean, could it be possible? It seemed unthinkable to consider walking, from the top of the North Island to the bottom of the North Island, but swimming? It was an impossible task, and he's turning it pretty rapidly into a possible task. The light's at the end of the tunnel.
So I wasn't expecting to be able to see my wife and daughter again after saying goodbye at Mount Maunganui. I thought that would be the last time until I got back to Auckland. So they came down, I was able to spend some really good quality time with them for the day, out on the beach with my daughter, seeing her kind of run around in the surf and in the sand. It was nice. It was also hard for sure the following morning, getting back into things, knowing that I've had these special moments with my family and then I'm kind of ripped away from it again. And now that's basically the last time until I get back to Auckland, or if it lines up, they'll be there in Wellington. With the southerly wind also brought some colder water. We logged the water temperature around 17.5. It was a drop from 19.5. So we're getting into territory that I would say is definitely fresh water. For the afternoon session in particular, that was quite hard because I had overeaten ever so slightly, but it was enough to make me feel uncomfortable in my belly. It wasn't seasickness, but it was a feeling of having too full of a gut. And what happens with that is that just weakens your body, because you're focusing on one thing and then there's this other stuff going on, being like the cold, the fatigue, the muscle soreness, and it all kind of compounds. And so at the 4.5 hour mark, instead of the 5 hours that we had slated, I decided to call it and head back to land. There's a couple of things that are going on in my head when I'm facing that kind of thing. One is the excuses that keep on coming up, which is, if you're not feeling well, you should get out of the water, this is uncomfortable, what if you get hypothermic? And then the other part of me is kind of fighting that, saying, you have done stuff like this before, you've done harder stuff than this before, it's only 5 hours, eventually it will end and you will be warm. So there's this kind of battle that's going on in my mind between these two different voices. And I've got to try and quell the voice that is trying to give me an excuse to get out of the water, to stop, because at the end of the day that doesn't actually help me to make any kind of forward progress. The only thing that helps us to get to our destination is actually staying in the water and turning my arms over. So it's kind of an easy sell to that part of my mind to say, you can get out now, but at the end of the day, you still have to come back and do this all over again if you do. So, isn't it better to just do it now?
Like there, if you stay slightly behind.
We had a Gisborne local join us for the afternoon, and he would, as the plan goes, he would join as a support swimmer for as long as possible. It was quite rough going out that day, and there was this swell from the previous 3 days that created these kind of slow-moving mountains, and we were going over them on the boat, and it was like, kind of a ramp and like landing on the other side of it. He jumped in the water, and I couldn't see this at the time, but he was already quite seasick. And then as soon as we got back to shore, he kind of came right and everything was okay again. But this is one of those things, I guess we've been on this mission for so long. Seasickness was something that I had to deal with earlier on, but now we've definitely got our sea legs, and it's just another part of our day-to-day routine and reality.
It's a bloody amazing day. Very humbling experience. I did an hour in the water, got seasick, so spend most of the time out on the boat with you, mate. So
yeah, so we hit 900 kilometres today, which is always cool to tick off another 100-kilometre block. It has been a bit of a slog getting here from 700 kilometres. The last 200 kilometres has felt like pretty hard work, but now it really feels like we'll get to that next milestone pretty quickly. So 900 and less than 500 kilometres to go, which is cool. So So we headed out early in the morning to tackle Māhia Peninsula and start making our way past Portland Island. When I got in the water, I didn't really want to swim. I knew that it would be a bit fresh. The hardest part is actually just jumping in, and once you're in, everything else kind of falls into place from that part.
Yeah, it was pretty crisp for the first couple of hours, and then once the sun came up, it was a lot nicer. It's definitely cooler. Water is definitely.
And then in the afternoon, after a quick return back to camp and nap, headed out for another session. I think it was 5 hours, and managed to make some really good progress by the end of the day across that almost 9-hour stint. It was 28 kilometres that we had progressed.
I didn't see the onesie on your arm.
It's business time.
Okay.
So we headed back to an anchorage just in of these kind of rough, these rough conditions that we've got at the moment. This is going to be quite a long transit back in about an hour or so, just because of the way the sea state is. But yeah, that was kind of the story of today. I guess it came up a little bit in the second half of the swim. First half was really nice. We got in between Portland Island and the mainland. Feel some good current coming through there. So today was 6 hours. Temperature was quite manageable in the water. So we're out to sea tomorrow, or that's the plan at least, and on the water for a couple of days.
Help Jono on this mission by putting your name next to our call to end bottom trawling in New Zealand at swimfortheocean.org.